Hi, you guys. Reporting live from hell. Did you know you're in hell? Or did you believe the lie that hell is to come once you get through this amazing, wonderful life? Which, the minute you're born, you're dying. But they're so worried about you, so worried about us, their chattel. They want to keep us safe, right? From all the invisible demons, which they create through a belief system. They have the force and the belief. That's how they control everybody, except for a handful. We don't know any of their numbers are real. They say there's 8 billion people, probably 6 now. They did such a good job, as Gates said, with the medical industrial complex. Yeah, we're living in hell. This is why anybody that has a near-death experience actually had a near-life experience. But they were able to bring them back in again. This is what they do at the what's it called? The Immaculate Conception Cathedral that is run under the Vatican. They hold your birth certificate there. You were sold into slavery. And that's why you need to put labor in to offset that. When you go to a bank to get a loan, they're just loaning you your money. It was established on your behalf when you were born. We're all supposed to have unlimited credit, unlimited money. But since they were first to taking a bond out on us, remember the show, The $6 Million Man or Woman? That's what it's referencing. So they want to recycle our souls. And they do get away with it until you get to the place where you're fully awake. You understand you're in hell. The only way we live here is if something else dies. It's predatory, it's consumerism. That's why while you're consuming dead flesh that has to die, everything has to be killed so you can live. They keep you focused on consuming clothes, idols, all these things. Now do you see why the churches are there? They don't tell you you're in hell. They say if you don't listen to us and do what your slave masters say, you're going to go to hell. So go to your job and pay us for giving you some emotional stimulation. That's what they do. So every single person has a number. There's a D-wave, if you want to call it that. It's everything's always been here. They just reveal it to us at certain points, some of it. If this is a simulation built on numbers, then you have to eventually get to the place where you go, why? Yeah, it's fun, I guess. Not to me, it isn't. Who cares how they do stuff? Anybody that only points to these creatures, these lizards that run this place and how they do it, and never tell you why they do it, hence the name of my channel, Why Now, they're not helping anybody. And they're all suspect. They're either not very bright, or they haven't really made, they got to come through here, be recycled a few more times before they get it. That's why those that had a near-death experience actually had a near life, but they weren't smart enough to escape. Or Since they're not aware enough, they're not smart enough, they had the opportunity to escape this hell, and they elected to come back. This is what they do at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. Immaculate Conception. Think about that. Why is your birth certificate held at the Vatican, at the Holy See? They got the church. Even myself, before I understood these things, I thought, oh, Trump's the Antichrist. Well, he's just one of them, but he's not the Antichrist. The Antichrist, which has always been here in this realm, is the Pope, the Vatican, where our birth certificates are held. Everybody else is just a rung on the ladder. We're getting ready to, they're going to recycle it again. Time goes in a circuitous fashion, not linear. And that's why everything is on repeat here. They've already teed up the new disease, and they got all their main players on stage to keep you focusing on the lizards that they say and believe, because they're lizards too, run this place. They idolize them. That's what the whole Bible's about, if you give any validity to it. That's why they never want you to read it. That's why they have all a church on every freaking corner. And then if they don't have a church, they got a cult. And it's amazing how this book, they all believe it's true, and that they're the only ones that know how to read it. Yet none of them read it. If you don't have the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, you don't understand anything. That's why you'll keep reincarnating here. That's why you'll have a near-life experience. When you really understand what's going on here, that it's kill or be killed, you cannot live unless something else dies. And you think that's heaven? Why do they want you to never focus on your mortality? The minute you're born, you're gonna die. They want to trick you and say they're keeping you safe even while they're killing you faster. Because it's a constant wash, rinse, repeat. When you start getting close to waking up, they want to cancel you out. And this is why, if you're targeted because you're one of God's elect, you actually come in from the heavens, you have the spirit, soul, you're a triune being. They're gonna do all of their tracking, their electronical tracking, stalking, all that. If you're aware of it, especially when you're under the age of 50. Because they do this generationally. As you get closer, you know, your mid 50s, 60s and over, they no longer will target you as much. They might do a skit every now and then, like a street theater thing. I've had a couple of those, which I think were always going on, but I didn't realize what they wore at the time. But they kind of quit when the other generations come in, because now they have fully implemented this transhuman era, and they are not interested in any of the things I talk about. Moreover, they're still gonna, you know, shadow ban it and all that, but they don't have an ear to hear, nor eyes to see. So see, it's always done generationally. That's why my parents' generation had no clue for the most part. I mean, there were a few people here and there, but it's really no different now. They're so effective in their brainwashing. They have you believing this place is not hell. No, there's something far worse that awaits you if you don't, you know, buckle down and do what you're told here. You don't turn the other cheek. You don't let evil prevail. You don't just shut your mouth and be a drone in the system, cog in the wheel. You can speak up, but you won't be able to kill, steal, and destroy. You won't be able to eat. You won't have a roof over your head. And even if you do, if we let you come into our organizations, our companies, or whatever, we're going to make sure that we're on you the whole time to make your life miserable. Because they don't get out of here. They're playing a skit. You think these skits just happen in the street? Converge on street theater? No, it's every time you go to one of their corporations, you go into their jobs, anywhere you go, and they're collected together, you will be targeted if you're one of God's elect. They have no other reason for living, if you can believe that. The only reason that they're on the surface is to antagonize and recycle your soul. That's it. That's how important you are. That's why a lot that don't have the Spirit of God, they get really scared after a while, and they figure out how to never leave their house. They're never gonna stand up. Anybody that just constantly talks to you about this system and how, it does what it does, but don't know why, they're part of the problem. Why does somebody need to kill a half side of beef and have a freezer in their garage for it? Because you have to kill here in order to live. But you think it's all, see, we're so normalized to killing creatures so we can live that we think it's normal. It's normalized. That's why we've got a generation come up now that hate animals. They'll sit there and tell you why. They give me nothing. There's nothing. Those are the ones that put pins in them, cut their tails off, smash their heads with rocks, and they get no satisfaction or the mutual reciprocation of the love of an animal because they are sociopaths. And that's what we've created on the internet. The generation two after me. You have a whole generation of men, boy men that just play games. They've never had a conversation with a real human. If they have sex, it's with themselves while they're watching something in a Black Mirror. They're completely impervious to everything. Now they don't even have to watch a woman. It's all robots. Because they're phasing out the human, even the sex worker. And now I have a whole different opinion about procreation and why the Mormon church is so evil, and anybody that does polygamy. Why would you want to bring another soul, which is just a split apart from you, into this hell? And they make it their life's mission. When your only life's mission should be to get out of here, to have a near-life experience. See, everything's inverted. They call it near death. And they get reincarnated, recycled back into this place. They are doing this kind of spell work at the Vatican with your birth certificate. They know the minute you're on your deathbed. A lot of times they create it. I mean, there used to be a show, I think it was called Dead Again, or Dead Like Me. And they're like the Grim Reapers or something. That's what it is. And then they'll toy with people. Give them the idea that they're dying. And then because they don't have the Spirit of God, so they can easily recycle their soul. Soul is mind. That's why it was presented to you on the Messiah as a crown of thorns. See, he escaped, transfigured, and moved on. Ascended master. And that's why he came, to show us the way. Instead, these devils made him an idol. So that, in other words, they can't ascend, because they made the very person that showed us how to escape this place an idol. Even though all through the Bible, that was the one thing that made the Creator the most angry, is why you want something made out of wood or stone or anything to take the place of Him. Him, her, Spirit. That's why a lot of us you call a rebel, because we don't worship your idols. We know they have absolutely no power. And that's why I can see the shills a mile away. Because all they do is reinforce to you that there's men that are over you. They even may say it. Like, look what they're doing now. There's one in particular, that's all he does, is reinforce to you the World Economic Forum, the WHO, even though at the same time they tell you that it's all fake. Well, they don't say it's fake. They just say that it is, and they actually are part of the problem, not the solution. It'd be even like me always complaining about my dad, how strict he is and stuff, right? Or evil, or whatever. But I never tell you that he has absolutely no power over me, because I don't give him any, by never talking about him. See? You reinforce your captor's power over you by always talking about them. And if you watch any of their shows, you always come away feeling drained, ineffectual, and like there's nothing you can do. Just sign up and get more of it via email. Tell you what a slave you are. Now there's a higher level. They don't want you to know that. They want you to think you're in heaven here, or, you know, at the very least, just this is purgatory. The minute you're born, you're dying. And yet everything they do here is trying to extend, life extension. And even if you see it when you're younger, you see that nobody else does. So what do you do with that? You just zip it up, zip your lip. That's what I did. A good majority of my life, I just, tried to go along to get along. But see, when you're one of the sanctified, justified elect, that's why I tried to share with you what I've dealt with my whole life. And it never changed. I was always optimistic. Every time I go into a situation, think, yeah, it can't happen in this one. And bam, every time. I wasn't attracting that energy personally. They hate the light of God that you carry. They see it a mile away. Plus, they're tracking us in every single aspect of our lives. The only time when they can't mess with you anymore is when you really see it all. And you take the words of wisdom of Christ, which said, take up your cross, and you have no fear of death. And yet, and you're dying the entire time you live here. Something else has to die to keep you alive, and nobody sees it, right? It's kill or be killed. It's parasitic, this entire place. It's not just them. Everybody here is a parasite. They're always preying on the weaker ones in order to live. And then they want the adulation of a mere mortal, which isn't even a mortal in most cases. It's just a meat suit that is an insect or a reptile. And now that you only watch it all on Black Mirror, there's no way to know what they are. It's only by what they say. So if you don't have ears to hear and eyes to see, you don't know where you are. And you're going to be recycled by your owners. That's why you'll have somebody that will come out and call themselves a pirate, and now they're going to say, okay, this is what we'll do now. We're going to push this angle that everybody that had the medicine is chattel, which is a total and complete lie. That's not a human anyway. That's an AI channel completely and totally. But that's how you get people not understanding where they are, what's going on. That's why this platform in particular is probably one of the most evil. But see, even Rumble is total deception, because people think that if you're on Rumble, you're alternative media and you're telling the truth. And they're not. There's no truth here. We're living in hell. Hell doesn't promote the truth of an almighty creator God. Because the vast majority, more than 2/3, don't come from God here. They call them extras, NPCs, gray man, which is all true. A lot of them don't even have a soul. They just have a node. They're just like a dummy node, if you know what that is in computer language. So, yeah, that's why when you meet someone and they seem really stupid, it's because they are. And then they do everything circuitous, so we're going to go through this time warp again, which is really amazing. See, that's why somebody, a New Ager that tells you we just need to raise the frequency of the world, and then you can transcend into 5D. I already operate in 5D. You're not going anywhere. You can't get an NPC, a gray man, an extra to transcend. See, this is where they don't get it. They too think everybody's a human. Even people I talk to you about think that. This is not true. That's why they have so many coming over the borders, to really mix it up and get some real chaos going here. Most of those are NPCs. They don't have any of the same ideology as a Simpson, like a Bart Simpson. Now they come in here guns blazing to kill, steal, and destroy. They want to destroy you. That's exactly what they want. And then it offsets the numbers because of all the ones that have dropped out. But see, a lot of them have been recycled. Their souls were recycled into these ones that are coming over the border. Try to wrap your head around that. You ever see that movie where, it's not a movie, it's like a series, and they're time travelers? I know there's a lot of different ones like it, but it was really good. And they would take over different bodies. All this stuff is real. As soon as they're dead, they're standing by to occupy the body. And this is what this place does. They're here to scalp your soul. And that's why, you know, this mass media and all the deception 24/7 never stops, is to keep you believing this place is not hell. Again, who knows how we got here or why. I think it's always kind of been indicated to me, this is my life number is 6. This is my last loop. I don't know how many times I've been here. I think people can come many times. It's innumerable, you know. But what I tried to show you in the last video was polarity. I showed you one side of me, and then I showed you the polar opposite of that. I don't know if any of you advanced beings were able to see that. I showed you my total warrior side, and I showed you my total love side. And then the idea to get through this place is to walk in the middle of it, in the middle of both of those extremes. But at the same time, you know what you're capable of. And you know who you are on each side of the spectrum, if that makes sense. And it's good to show people. What if I did that every time I said something? Which one of those two, that one cartoon, the two idiots, there's a truther like that. Every time he says something, he goes, I quit watching him a long time ago. He's here just to keep you believing in the system, even though he acts like he comes against it. But all he does is reinforce to you that they're in control, when they're not. See, this is why it's easy to see that Russell Gould is the real deal, because none of them will touch him with a 10-foot pole. Their handlers won't let them. This is the fight, the war between good and evil. You're either in the fight, or you're not. And as you can see, we're very, very, very outnumbered. But we're way more powerful. That's why they have to suppress our voices. They don't play fair. This is why they have to cheat. And they idolize men, which is so freaking pathetic, because they're not even men. But they have the average, you know, Bart Simpson believing that they are. Again, see, the problem with me is I've worked in too many places in my life, and I've been around people. A lot of people talk about stuff only from a frame of reference that is their life, in their house, and the very few handful of people around them. They're very, very out of touch with the regular Joe. I worked on giant construction jobs in Wyoming in my 20s, building natural gas treatment plants. I've been all over the world. And most of the things that you're surrounded by are not human like you. Like, they don't have a spirit of God. This is why they do well in this environment, which is hell. This is why they have no problem killing, stealing, and destroying. It's like when I was explaining to you every job I went to, how you're, and I know other people that are chosen, elect, sanctified, justified. Doesn't matter where they go, you're targeted. And again, it depends a lot on your age, how much you understand. Like, if you're not aware of it and you're just, you know, going through the motions and you're trying to get along with the rest of the NPCs, the attacks they're not as like intense. They're not like going to be like street theater level, or, you know, they're not going to come for your jugular right away, but they will when they know. And then they'll use you as a sacrificial lamb. Like, they'll use you to show everybody else in a company what they can and cannot do. Just like they crucified the Messiah, they're going to crucify you. This is what we signed up for. This is hell. That's why they can't understand the temple of God is your body. Only if you come from above. 8 out of 10 people you're around do not come from above. And that's why all these churches are in place. That's why there's all these wolves in sheep's clothing that are in pulpits to pull you and keep you pulled into hell. They're pulling you into deeper levels of hell. That's why you got to know who you are. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. You can't rely on someone else to tell you. Only reason I put videos out are for confirmation, for God's elect. Some guy that gets on YouTube and runs ads and says, all your money's coming back. All your money's coming back. That's all. Everything's going to be restored. Everything's coming back. They are wolves in sheep's clothing too. You're chosen. You're chosen. How do you know? Are they, are they telling you you're going to have a bunch of money suddenly? That's a worker that works for the darkness. Because they want you to not know where you are. You're in hell. This is hell. That's why you have to eat or be eaten in order to survive. That's why the Messiah said, pick up your cross, give no thought for your life. That's what's demonstrative of someone that actually walks with the Father. That's why you can stand up to tyranny, because you're not afraid to die. You already have died. You died to this world, which is hell. Yet there's nothing of you in it. If I had to do it over, and nothing against my daughter or anything, I would never have children here. That's a trap too. This whole procreation thing, all you're doing is bringing people into hell. You're giving them a real body to recycle into. Then this is why they push polygamy. This is why they have these religions that push polygamy. It's the best way for them to get a vessel. They don't have to actually create it in a petri dish. And then also, they want you to keep really engaging in sensual sexual activity so that you can have babies out of wedlock, and then they can abort them. And that's all ritual sacrifice that feeds this hellish beast. That's why nobody knows where they are. Again, it's like, why do you put a dead animal in your garage? Buy another freezer so you can have... That was something, that thing my dad married loved having. A half side of a beef. And she'd open the thing and just go, look at this, isn't this amazing? All this meat. And as a kid, I would just be like, what? You just kind of scrambles your brains. You're just like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Why are you happy to have a dead animal in your garage, which you're not going to eat for like another year? Because you're worried about the sack. You haven't died to this world. That's why none of us are afraid of war or anything. Anybody, oh my God, the Third World War, blah, 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 blah. No, you better have your best life now. This is hell. How do you have a best life here? Explain it to me. Only a demon enjoys their stay here. Only a demon wants to prolong it. The hardest thing is like living here if you're one of God's elect. And you gotta, you're not independently wealthy. You gotta figure out how to make money. And everybody is a fucking liar now. I mean, everybody cheats and steals. It's just the norm. I think you're actually applauded in the background if the more you steal, kill, and destroy. See, the Colosseum is a microcosm of where we are. And the overlords watch us in this game, but from a very, very over-understanding place. And they bet on us, they do all kinds of stuff of what we're gonna do. And I did a video on that. The archons, whatever. Yeah, but honestly, when you really understand that you're in hell, all you want to do is transcend this place. You want to get out once and for all. You want to transmute it. You want to do what Christ did. He came to show us the way out of here. you die to this world, you're going to endure all kinds of torment. You're never going to be one of the popular kids. You're never going to be held to high esteem here. Even your brothers, sisters, mothers, and fathers will want to kill you and leave you for dead and do any number of things to destroy you. Because it's not you personally that they hate, it's the light within you. Because you represent something they don't have. That's why they want to kill you. At the very least, they want to destroy your life. Any way possible. That's why you will never see any of us in entertainment. I told you. They wouldn't even talk to me about being in Hollywood, which was all to my benefit. Because why would they want me as soon as I see what it is in Hollywood? They wouldn't. They don't even want to mess with you. You get handlers right away. You do this for a little while, then you play Green Acres, you know. It's like once you're in, you're in. That's why people like me can see them. I saw them my whole life, but until I really understood where we were, and it really did take to see how they all fell in line because they worship Satan here. That's why they cover their breathing apparatus, which, like myself, I can't do, you know. I love exercise, I like breathing, and something that insane, when I know it's all a lie, there's nothing that floats through the air, there's no such thing as viruses, there's no such thing as diseases, it's only your body detoxing, and anything you do get, you don't get it from another individual, not even the shedding. I even kind of fell for that a little bit. The only thing that you get sick from is what you allow them to put into your vessel. And I believe that they can't even affect us the way they can them, because the Spirit of God overcomes everything. So anyone that's sick, you got to really look at that, like how sick they are. Like, what did you do to get this sickness? Because it's a curse. You get sick because you're sinning. Your health is like the most valuable thing you can have. And when you have health, sometimes it's easy to take it for granted. And you think, well, if I just had more money and I didn't have to do this job. But at the same time, you have this perfect health that allows you to think, that allows you to do. And it's all a blessing from God if you have good health. You go through this part when you're younger, like you obsess over your body. And you still don't even, you make it an idol. You don't want to make yourself an idol. Anything that's an idol is here to keep you from understanding that this is hell. You're in hell. You are going to die. You're dying every day. You're dying the moment you're born. So they take out a bond on you and sell it in the background. And you think people would be interested in that. But if you're a 2/3, you're not interested at all in that. Because you're just here to eat, to consume, kill so you can live. That's why when you look at Wall Street and stuff, people that even invest in the markets are retards. It's all controlled. Every single thing is. Every sports game, every venue, everything is controlled. Like, for me, even people that only talk about the numbers, I think it's great, but now what? You understand you got to get to the place where you understand you're living in hell. And that's how they do stuff. They do it by numbers. So what? How do you keep from being recycled here? That's why nobody's interested in the number thing. Never will be on mass scale. Doesn't affect them in the least. They don't care how the system operates. Most of them are a number in the system. So if you don't understand, there's 2/3 here that are not like you at all, real truth tellers, you'll never really get it. You're not meant to be popular here. That's indicative of the fact that you're actually a servant of the Most High and that you're here on your last leg. And the one thing you want to do is you don't want to have a near-death experience, which recycles you back in here. That's what the the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. That's what they do there. That's why the Vatican is in control here, in control of the whole world. Every plot of land, every ley line, everything. And it's a man that's wearing a dress, and they worship him and they bow down to him. So it gives you this idea that it's holy, but it's evil as fuck. And they sell the souls of men. This is what goes on here. This is what this whole place is about, is to capture your soul. Especially people that are on their last leg and have an opportunity to do what Christ did and transcend this place, to fully ascend in mastery and never come back, because this is hell. All these people on the main stage, they have already played their games out. They never, ever leave. They've checked in and they never check out. That's why they can do what they do with impunity. They have no opportunity for redemption. Do you understand? Okay, that's all for now. Have a great day, you guys. See you again soon. One last thing. This is why the movies really do tell us the truth, because a lot of the beings that do the scripts, people can work on movies and not even understand what's going on. But the ones that put the scripts out, they do everything for a reason, for an effect. Now, when you think about the ending, if you ever watched The Game, Michael Douglas, and even in Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky, they both jump off a building trying to kill themselves, right? Why? And neither one of them were able to kill themselves. They had that whole elaborate party, and then they had the big mattress, and X ironically marked the spot where Michael Douglas jumped, and he wasn't able to kill himself. So I believe what that represents now is they were able to capture his soul and recycle him back into the game. That is totally indicative of what goes on here.